Well, today's episode is going to have four reviews since it's Saturday, August 6th. So, we're going to be reviewing the season finale of ChocoPro with 246. Now, I feel like this is a little shorter, but keep in mind some things did not go well for them because they had to go on the trip to Thailand, and of course, make sure it was out due to being contracted with the coronavirus. Balinaki is on a 2 month tour in the US. And of course, we cannot forget the G1 Climax. We still continue on with in day 12. And of course, we got NWA USA with some interesting matches. But however, the main event features the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Homicide puts the title on the line against someone he already faced in Always Ready, PJ Hawks. And then finally, we have AEW Battle of the Belts, where all three championship belts are on the line: the TNT title, the Women's Championship, and the Ring of Honor World Championship. And of course, we got some news updates, and we're going to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Okay, so welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with the season finale of ChocoPro with 246. Now, as I mentioned before, it feels like a little short, but things have come up. As you know, recently Balinaki went on a 2 month tour in here in the US, and Mei Shruga was out due to the coronavirus, which she was unable to compete in Thailand for the first time. So there's that. But however, we have two matches that were set. The first one, we have Tokiko Kihara and Antonio Hana to take on Sayaka and Masahiro Takanashi. Now, this match was very interesting because, as I mentioned before, Sayaka has grown up a lot ever since she has improved her wrestling craft. But however, is the one thing that she cannot execute is how to end the match. It's always been that scenario. But however, in this particular match, she was on that very urge until Antonio Honda changed it, allowing for himself and Tokiko Kihara to walk out as the victors, which is a huge disappointing loss for her. I don't think she expected it, neither did Takanashi. Now, our last in sort of like a main event, we have a trios match. We have Saruyi teaming up with Yuna Mizumori and, of course, the founder of Ganbare Pro, what's his name? Oh yeah, Ken Oka, to take on the Egg Tarts, Chiko Shikawa and Hagane Shinoi, and we cannot forget the Big Apple Mei Shruga. Now, this match was pretty good. Now, I know that Sarui has dealt with both Mei and she before on several occasions, either in singles or in tag team action. Keep in mind, with Saruyu's tag team partner, Shon Shiru, he's always that one guy that dealt with them. But however, there's been a lot of dynamics. You can see the two powerhouses in this particular match is, of course, Oka and Mizumori. So that always played a good factor. But however, things would have gone exactly their way. But Chiko Shikawa got double teamed by both Sarui and um, Mizumori in order to win the match, which is another disappointing loss for Chi. I don't think any of us expected it, but it was a good one. Now, as for our Jonkin tournament, we have, of course, I did not anticipate a whole lot. Sayaka was the one person I did not anticipate was going to win. I know she has won the Jonkin tournament before, but I did not anticipate her one way or the other. But good for her, she won. And Mei Shruga, she sucked. I think she sucked now that Balinaki's not around. I think that's the reason why. Anyways, but I think that's pretty much it for this ChocoPro. Now, keep in mind, I will reveal this. There is another ChocoPro event, but this one is not based here, or should I say, based in Japan. It was based in Thailand. As you know, that there's a promotion called Setup Pro Wrestling. So they did a little ChocoPro there, and I'm curious with the Thailand wrestlers who are there. I'm kind of curious. So we'll see what happens. But right now, let's move on with the G1 Climax, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, so we're in day 12 in the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax. So we opened up, we're going to start with the D block. We have El Fantasmo versus Yoshihashi. Now, as you know, Yoshihashi is doing pretty good. El Fantasmo, well, he is trying to determine to get up some wins, but however, the headhunter was the one who walked out as the victor. I have to say, Yoshihashi has improved a lot growing up since I've been seeing him, and he walked out with the win. And he actually gained, I believe, right now, he has 2 wins and 1 loss, so that's a total point of 6. So he's good for now. As for El Fantasmo, 2 losses, 2 losses and 1 win. So may not look good for him. Our next match we have from the A block. We got Lance Archer versus Yano. Now, we all know Yano, how he rolls, how he plays. He does his little tricks in order to win. Now, Archer was not playing around. He's not here to play games. If you've seen him, that's the reason he's there. However, Yano tried to play tricks on him. Not to mention, Lance Archer even played tricks on him too. If you guys know what I'm talking about, Yano has a tendency to bring tape and either tape his opponent either on the guardrail or use the Young Lions for his leverage, and that kind of plays out in a good way. But however, it did not work well for Lance, and then of course Yano decided to tape him up with Yuto Nakashima, which was his big mistake. But however, Lance Archer found a good use for him, a weapon. But unfortunately, Lance Archer got the best of him with the blackout. 1, 2, 3, he is out. So for the point system for him, uh, let's see. Oh yeah, Archer walked away, has 2 wins so far with 1 loss, with total points of 4. As for Yano, maybe things are not looking good for him since he has 4 losses and 1 win with 2 points. So he may be out. Sorry, Yano. So sorry, Yano. So anyway, right now our next block is from the C block. I believe, oh yeah, it's Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroki Goto. Now, this is a very good match because, you know, we've seen Zack Sabre Jr. that he is one of the best technical wrestlers in the world versus a guy who's been involved with strong style. Now, this was good. I had to say it was pretty great. However, it fell in the favor of, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. to pick up a win. So right now he has the total points of 6 with 3 wins and 1 loss. Goto only has 2 wins and 2 losses with total points of 4. So he's pretty good for now, but we'll see what happens next. Now our next match is from the B block. We have Great Okan versus JY. Now this is a huge test for Khan. Now keep in mind, he's facing the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, World Heavyweight Champion. This is a golden opportunity for Khan. If he beats him, he gets an opportunity of the title. Now, I wouldn't know how Will Ospreay would think, but it played out pretty well. There's some moments where they tried to beat the crap out of each other, but unfortunately, it did not go well for Khan. And not to mention, it played out a good psychology. But however, it was um, Jay White who walked out as the victor. I was so impressed with this match completely. So Jay White walked out with the total points. Right now he is undefeated with 8, so he may more likely win his block. But Khan, on the other hand, not so good. He only has 1 win and 3 losses. Now our next match is of course back to the D block. Oh my goodness, this is one of the best matches of the night. I have to say, it was pretty impressive. I did not anticipate a whole lot in this one, but it was unbelievable. It's Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi. Now, keep in mind, these two men have come across each other before. Now, if you guys remember, Will Ospreay was the one who declared himself as the IWGP title, while Shingo Takagi was the one who was the champion. However, that they never resolved the issues. However, Shingo Takagi even played psychological warfare on that by taking out the hidden blade in every possible. Now, keep in mind, the hidden blade has always been one of the main weapons that Will Ospreay used in order to take out his opponents. But this time, it may not do so well since Shingo tried to take it out. But it was an unbelievable match until finally Shingo took him out with the last dragon, giving him the win. So what does he get for his point system? I believe right now Shingo has with 4 points with 2 wins and 2 losses. Same thing with Will Ospreay, 2 wins and 2 losses with a total of 4 points. I think this is going to be an interesting match, but I believe right now for the D block, David Finlay is currently in the lead. Now, what about the other blocks? Well, in C block, I believe right now we have Zack Sabre Jr., who's in the lead. Zack Sabre Jr. and Tanahashi are in the lead. They're tied at the moment. B block, Jay White is currently in the lead with 8 points. And as for the A block, well, it looks like Okada's the only one who's currently in the lead. So anything could happen from here on out. So right now, let's just wait and see. We will see what's going to happen in day 13 soon enough. But right now, let's move on with NWA USA. Okay, NWA USA. It started out with a tag team. Well, it became a handicap. We were supposed to have Jax Dane teaming up with Magic Jake Dumas along with CJ, but he was a no-show. So basically, he was facing against Brett with Shay and Thrillbilly Silas. Now, this match would have gone great, but this one had a bit of a bizarre twist into this. Because, as you guys know, Thrillbilly Silas has his manager, Boyle Del Mar. I don't know what the hell was going on. They just went under the ring, and of course, because of that, it gave Jake Dumas to win. Now, I don't want to know what was going on between Boyle Del Mar and Silas underneath, so I don't want to talk about it. Now, speaking of Jack Sane, his attorney saying that he has no business being there. So, it makes no sense because he's the national champion. The show is based on him. He has to show up, but Mercurio shows up, tries to make a statement, and not to mention that the attorney tries to play smartass, trying to say he's not Italian. But sooner or later, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mercurio decides to challenge for the national title. That is something I know for a fact it could happen, but we just gotta wait and see. Now, our next match, we have Jamie Stanley versus Casey Rockers, and to our surprise, Aaron Stevens was managing. Now, he wasn't doing anything, but he was managing him. Kind of bizarre. But, as you guys know, Casey Rocks actually was a victim of Tyrus, who did things. I wouldn't be surprised by Aaron if he recruited him because of his humiliation he suffered. I wouldn't know. But he did pretty good, even though Jamie Stanley's a little cocky SOB. It was Casey Rockers who walked out as the winner. 1, 2, 3. Good night, Jamie. So that's how it rolls. Now, our next 2 interviews are from May Valentine. The first one is those lousy Cardona family. As you guys may have heard, Mike Knox has been booked to challenge Bully Ray. Now, those two have a long history. Mike Knox thinks he has a plan to get rid of him. So we don't know exactly what he's going to do, but I wouldn't pass Bully Ray. I have a feeling he may have a plan. Now, our next interview came from Ricky Morton. He is dealing with a wrecking ball, Legursky. Now, Legursky, he's been nothing but a pain in everyone's ass, and many times. Ricky Morton cannot take him, so he decides, I'm going to challenge him no matter how old he is. I have to say, Ricky Morton has more guts than any man I've ever met. So, good for you. Now our main event is the NWA Junior Heavyweight title between PJ Hawks and Homicide. Now this is a rematch from Always Ready. Keep in mind, Homicide walked out, but if you guys remember, Kobe Corino sent the fixers to attack both of them. But Homicide was generous enough to give him another opportunity, and he did. But the match was unbelievably amazing. Now PJ would have won, but if it wasn't for Homicide with the Gringo Cut or Gringo Kill or whatever move he used to finish him off in order to retain the title. But I think it was a pretty good match, so I liked it. So I think that's pretty much it with this one. So I believe let's do our last review is AEW Battle of the Belts. AEW Battle of the Belts. Our first match is the TNT title between Jay Lethal along with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh to take on Wardlow. Now keep in mind, Singh and Dutt are there to distract Wardlow, but you know Wardlow, he refuses. They stay down. Now this match was set because Jay Lethal did not like the fact that Wardlow showed up when he defeated Orange Cassidy and tried to humiliate him, but Wardlow's not going to stand by and let a punk like Lethal to try to get away with it. He put the title on the line, but however, nothing stopped this beast, no matter what he did. But he did put Lethal in a Symphony Bomb, but Dutt decided to attack him from behind. But there was no way to bring down Singh until Wardlow gave him the low blow, and he was about to put Satnam Singh in a power bomb or give him a Symphony power bomb, but Lethal showed up, and then of course he was put through a table. Now this was a retaliation, knowing that he did not like the results of this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a rematch in All Out, but we just got to wait and see on that particular day. Our next match is the AEW Women's Championship between Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa. Now keep in mind, Hayter is good friends with Britt Baker. They're trying to get that title away from Thunder Rosa because they felt, your time's up, girl. It's time to move on. It's my chance to shine. So that's how it is. But luckily, Thunder Rosa did have backup. She had a Toni Storm having her back, while Rebel and Britt Baker were there to ensure that things go in favor of Jamie Hayter, but things did not go well for her one way or the other. Somehow, Thunder Rosa was able to pick up a good win, but in the process, there was a post that she may have broken her nose. Well, Jamie Hayter's nose, but we'll see what happens. But we'll see who's going to be the next opponent for Thunder Rosa in the near future. Now, our main event is the Ring of Honor World Championship. Now, this match was amazing. I have to say, I give kudos to what this match is all about. Konosuke Takeshita, the challenger, versus Claudio Castagnoli. I loved it. Completely great match. I have to say, Konosuke Takeshita is one of the biggest stars that we ever seen. I would love to see this guy go full time with AEW, but unfortunately it did not go exactly according to plan for him. But what a great performance. I give this one a lot. I give it a 10. Trust me. But it was Castagnoli who walked out as the victor to retain the title. It was amazing. But Castagnoli said that Takeshita reminded him of him when he was young, and he knows that he can be a champion. He knows it, and there's no doubt about it. But there was a clip on Twitter that shows, or in YouTube, where once the match was over, William Regal went up to Konosuke Takeshita to shake his hand. I think he was impressed. Now, somebody may say, is he going to recruit him to the Blackpool Combat Club? You may never know. The old saying goes, never say never. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. So let's just see what's going to take place. But to keep in mind, Konosuke Takeshita will be heading back to Japan soon for the Wrestle Peter Pan event. So I think that's pretty much it. So I believe it's time for news updates. news updates for everyone. Now, this report came from Fightful Select. Now, Sean Ross Sapp got sources to indicate, as you know, there's been a lot of changes that have been going on with WWE. We saw the return of Io Shirai, known as Io Sky, the Dakota Kai. We even saw recently Karrion Kross make their way. Now, sources told Sean Ross Sapp that Triple H is not in a hurry to take off the foot off the gas pedal. Now, as the reason this is important is because keep in mind, changes have been now taking place ever since Vince McMahon retired from the company. Now this is more like right now from what I'm seeing, Triple H is trying to rectify the mistakes that Vince made. Now there were plenty talents that we have been seeing that should have had better opportunities in the main roster, but no. Like for example, we saw what happened to Karrion Kross with that ridiculous outfit. That was dumb. So basically, Triple H is not going to stop there. He's going to keep on going to make these changes happen. Now, this one was a very interesting development I've been hearing. This was coming from Wrestling Headlines with GCW. It turns out a former WCW WWE star, you may know him if those who don't know, his name is Ernest the Cat Miller. He will be setting his debut with GCW on the 2nd of September, where they're going to be co-promoting an event with Black Label Pro. Now, it's unclear what capacity Ernest the Cat Miller is. Now, those who don't know who he is a martial artist. He was one of the most incredible wrestlers I've seen. He teamed up with a legendary wrestler named Glacier, who was like the Sub-Zero version. I like that Ernest Miller. Then he acted like freaking James Brown at some point during his career. But it was good. I liked it. Now, last but not least, as you know, The Boys, Dalton Castle's guys, has been announced that they are officially signed with Ring of Honor. So it's great news coming from that, knowing that they are now the current 6-man tag team champions with Dalton Castle. I can't wait to see what else is going to throw in. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have, of course, ChocoPro in Thailand, which I'm excited to review. We got day 13 of the G1 Climax, and what I don't know what else I'm going to put in. Hopefully, we do get this weekend's Stardom 5-star Grand Prix with day 4. Just read there's some good matches that took place, but I'm not going to spoil it for everybody until I see the full matches. Don't know what else I'm going to do, so I'm just going to wing it. Now, if there's some news updates, I'm willing to share with everyone what's been going on. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.